In the 80s, we had actors and actresses like Tom Cruise, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, and Sigourney Weaver. In the 90s, we had Tom Hanks, Leonardo DiCaprio, Winona Ryder, and Julia Roberts. All of these names were big enough to put on a movie poster and have audiences reel in to see them. Now fast forward to today, who do we have? What happened to the movie star? Why isn't the movie star as big and influential as it used to be? These are the questions I often ask myself, and after doing some research, I've come to the conclusion that there are two major reasons for this. So let's start with the first.
Studios killed the movie star. Studios killed the movie star. Disney became the story on.
Intellectual property, or IP, is now a huge driver for the box office. Think about some of the biggest franchises out there: the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Harry Potter, Hunger Games, Star Wars, etc., etc. I've never once heard someone say, "I can't wait to go and see Robert Downey Jr. or Tom Holland in any Marvel movies." No, what I do hear is, "I can't wait to go see Spider-Man swing from buildings and kick some butts." Put anyone in a Spider-Man outfit and I can almost guarantee you'll get huge audiences showing up. Same thing goes for other franchises. Sure, there are certain people who are better suited for the role, and we always debate on whether or not a specific actor is a good fit, but these days it's the actual IP that brings audiences to theaters. Timothee Chalamet and Anya Taylor Joy are probably the biggest young movie stars, and even they aren't big enough to bring in the mainstream audiences by their name alone. And this wasn't by accident either. There is a great Hollywood Reporter article titled, "If Jennifer Lawrence Can't Open a Movie, Who Can?" I'll drop a link below in the description. In this article, they go to say, studios have increasingly turned to brands rather than brand names, to the Star Wars and Marvel movies rather than individual actors. And there are reasons for this. One being the culture we live in today. With today's cancel culture, a franchise is a safer bet. If an actor or actress isn't being viewed by the public as being worthy of the limelight, easy, just replace them with someone else. We've seen this happen fairly often recently. When Johnny Depp was accused of abusing Amber Heard, he was cut from the Fantastic Beasts franchise and replaced by Mads Mikkelsen. And now that the public opinion seems to have shifted in the other direction, Amber Heard has lost her role in Aquaman. Actors can be replaced and still leave the franchise fairly unscathed, especially when the franchise is loved by millions. Another huge reason studios have moved towards focusing on IP instead of individuals is, surprise, surprise, money. Studios are a business. Their goal is to make money by entertaining people. And if people are more likely to show up to a Marvel movie versus a movie like The Nice Guys, they will put more time and effort into that movie. Studios will still experiment with the hopes of striking gold, but spending time and money on a movie that is less likely to succeed has an opportunity cost. The opportunity of spending that time, money, and resources into a movie they know will bring massive crowds. Even with names like Ryan Gosling and Russel Crowe attached to The Nice Guys, it just barely managed to make back its $50 million budget, despite being an amazing film. Another big reason related to money is the marketing. You can throw a Minions character on a pack of bananas or yogurt and kids will beg their parents to buy it. Think back to the 90s when Titanic was the highest grossing film of all time. You can't really make much money off the movie other than the movie itself. Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet, or the Titanic, don't make for great faces to put on a yogurt container or to use as action figures. Franchises like the MCU, Harry Potter, Star Wars, and many, many more are great for generating tangential revenue. You make a movie that rakes in a buttload of money, but you also start to sell toys, games, and other merchandise that keeps the money flowing in. In an article by Ranker, they stated that according to Nielsen analysts, while Star Wars The Force Awakens earned $2 billion in ticket sales, Star Wars merchandising earned $5 to $6 billion in its own fiscal year. That means that Star Wars merchandise in that year earned at least 2.5 times more than the movie itself. That's why it's worth investing in IP. Okay, that's enough about how studios killed the movie star. Let's move on to the other major reason. But before we do, make sure to subscribe to Filmstack if you're enjoying this video. We appreciate every single sub and have huge plans for our channel going forward, so hit that subscribe button. But okay, with that out of the way, let's get into it.
Social media killed the movie star. Social media killed the movie star.
Before social media hit the mainstream, for somebody to be in the spotlight, they had to get extremely lucky and oftentimes be extremely talented. And even though actors were in the spotlight, they also had an aura of secrecy around them. They were normal people, but they also seemed a bit too far out of reach for us. We only saw their personal lives through the lens of a paparazzi's camera. And cinema itself was this magical thing where only the most die-hard enthusiasts knew what was going on behind the scenes. Fast forward to today, social media, for better or worse, has taken over the world. It has connected everyone in a way we never thought was possible. These days, if you're famous, you basically have to have a social media presence. You show people what's going on behind the scenes. You talk about your personal life. It's not just red carpets and award shows anymore. This makes actors and actresses more relatable. And you'd think that this would cause them to have a bigger pull on audiences, and I'm sure it does in some cases, but it also leads us to having almost anyone at our fingertips. We've been overexposed. You no longer just see the people that the big magazines want us to either see or gossip about. You now have access to almost everyone. And if we have access to almost everyone, then no one is really as special as they used to be. On top of that, there now exists a totally new type of celebrity, the influencer/social media star. Think of people like Logan Paul, KSI, Mr. Beast, and Liza Koshy. These people are now regular household names, maybe even more regular than the actors and actresses that are starring in some of the biggest movies today. And they are better at what they do than traditional celebrities. Actors still rely on movies and TV shows to be seen. They look at social media as being secondary, whereas today's influencers have capitalized and really taken advantage of this space. Just last year, Logan Paul fought Floyd Mayweather. Holy crap. For anyone who says that influencers and YouTube stars are still not in the mainstream media, they are either from an older generation or are only getting their information from magazines. And these social media juggernauts have been able to capitalize on their success. They've launched product brands, influenced the crypto market, which is pretty controversial in its own right, and make millions off of merchandise alone. They aren't just some person, they are a brand. And on top of that, social media stars are now moving into what was traditionally considered mainstream media. For example, Logan Paul is now part of the WWE. Whether you love the new normal or hate it, social media has definitely opened the doors for many people to have their spot in the limelight and indirectly shape the film industry into what it is becoming today. An industry that is obsessed with the next IP as opposed to the biggest name. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like, and if you haven't subscribed yet, which I know most of you haven't, make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on our latest video. We weren't releasing as many videos as we were hoping to over the past couple of months, but I was busy getting married, so my time was taken up with that, but we're back and we're at it full force yet again. So make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on our latest videos. Until next time, have a good one.